Good morning. In fact, I am going to record this as an audio as well because I got a feeling, ooh, that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. Maybe I'll get in trouble with the Facebook police. Good morning. This is day 2 on 5 ways to be emotionally strong every single day. Thank you for joining me. If you have a pen and paper to hand, I really suggest that you make some notes, and the first thing you write down is your name. Write down your name. Pete, that's a very strange thing to do. Write it down, because one of the things my coach once said to me is write down your name and look at your name and realize that was something that was given to you. It wasn't your idea, right? It was something that was given to you, and you have accepted it. And I really can't wait in a couple of weeks' time. I won't have to do this business, by the way, of sharing this every day like this, because we're changing things around in My 365 Elite land that many of you know. And I can't wait for that, because then I can get straight into content, because I know some of you are waiting for me to get stuck in, but I have a few little procedures that I have to do behind the scenes here in sharing this post in a couple of different places. But once that's done, we can dig into some content. So look at your name and think, well, that was given to me. What else has been given to me? What else has been given to me? Look around you. Maybe things have been given to you. I don't know, your television. That television was given to me. I definitely never would have bought that television, but it was given to me by someone who didn't want it. What else in your life has been given to you? You could say positive, negative. It doesn't matter. Physical things that have been given to you. What else has been given to you? What things have been handed down to you from your parents? What emotions have been handed down to you from your parents? Did your parents teach you how to be happy? Did they teach you how to be joyful? Did they teach you how to worry? Did they teach you how to think poorly of yourself? I mean, I don't know, because I wasn't brought up by your parents. All I know is that my parents did the best they could possibly do with what they had. They were a victim of what they had experienced, or maybe victim is too strong a word. But now I think it's time for all of us to wake up. And that, to me, is one of the key things of the My 365 experience. It's about you waking up and realizing that you have a choice. You have a choice over the way that you think, the way that you feel. And yesterday was a big day for a lot of people. How many of you enjoyed yesterday's broadcast? How many of you shared yesterday's broadcast? Many people did. But soon you won't be able to share them. You'll only be able to share the broadcast on a Monday, because we ain't broadcasting Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We are just broadcasting to elite members, and you can be an elite member. And I challenge you, if you're not, to give me 365 days of your time to turn your dreams, your goals, your ambitions into reality. We've done it. We've got so many great stories, and we will continue to make superheroes out of everyday people just like you and me. So personally, I believe school is outdated. University is outdated. So many things are outdated, yet we still go back to what is outdated. We go back to old models that we have. We go back to old ways of thinking, and that's fine if it works. We make incredible generalizations about things. Now, you'll see in the title of this post, I said about healing or disease. Now, this is really such a fascinating thing, And I realize that we're all doing ourselves such a massive. Have you ever done anyone a disservice in your life? Have you ever done any? You might not have meant to do it, but you did someone a disservice. Yes or no? You have. You, like I say, you might not have wanted to do it, but it just happened. Or maybe you did it. Maybe you regret doing it. Have you ever done yourself a disservice? Have you ever had any hopes, dreams, goals, ambitions, and you haven't let those happen? You see, every day, I believe we do ourselves a massive disservice by how we use the equipment that we have. This is your equipment. Here it is. Your body, your mind, what you think. And I'm not so much talking about your body at the moment. I'm talking more about your mind. And this is something I said yesterday, which really blew a lot of people away. And by the way, how many of you would like me to be kind of not beat around the bushes and be a bit more cut through, not cut throat, but cut through, rather than just being softly and kind of wrapping up what I'm about to say? Or would you like me to just give it to you as personally, you know, I see it? Because I'm going to explain to you a few things about myself, but at the same time, I'm going to explain to you a little bit about how your brain works. See, this is something I said yesterday, which was a big wake-up call for a lot of people. And it's this: emotion is a thought that is linked to a sensation. Emotion is a thought that is linked to a sensation. So the thought starts off in the mind and the sensation is in the body. That's the feeling. And that's why we call them emotions. Yes, emotion, it starts from a thought. The thought brings a sensation in the body, and that is a feeling, and that is why we call them emotions. Now, there is something, I don't want to give a science or a biology lesson here. I don't even have any qualifications in biology. I did sports science, so I studied a bit of biology, biomechanics, but I didn't really pay much attention because the teacher was so boring. It didn't look like he really wanted to be there. Whereas I really want to be here today. I really want to be there to inspire you to go, oh, I've never thought of it like this, and I might change my life. Write this down. You are a chemist. You are a chemist. Write it down. I am a chemist. I am a chemist. And what are you doing? Well, you're mixing up different chemical cocktails all of the time. Which cocktails do you mix up? The ones that are familiar to you. That's just what we do. Why do we do that? Because that's how we survive. Why do we have habits? So we can forget the habit that we have and learn a new habit and continue to survive. If you want to thrive, and I mean thrive, you have to learn how to do things very differently. So what happens in our bodies when we experience different emotions? Well, what is your body actually trying to do? What is it trying to do? It's trying to keep you alive. That's what it's trying to do. It's called homeostasis. So we have this part of the brain, it's called the limbic system, and it has many different functions. One of the things it does is responsible for hormone regulation. So you have all of these hormones going on inside the body, and all the time your body is trying to keep everything cool, calm, and collected. We were only really designed to experience stress once or twice a month. Once or twice a month where your life was in danger. That's all. So if you experience stress 30, 40, 50 times a day, you're moving your body out of homeostasis. Your body is not designed to stay in a stress state. You know that. I know that. But what is the effect of that? Well, it has. In fact, I want to tell you that it disrupts. That was the word. It disrupts the way our body is designed to work. It disrupts. And where there's disruption over time, there becomes disease, right? You know this. But my goal today is for you to go, you know what? I never thought of it like that. How many of you want disease? Does anyone want disease? See, when you're not at ease, of course, you call disease. And there's so much around the field of mental health. So we give someone antidepressants who's suffering from depression, but that doesn't make them happy. It just stops them from being depressed. You see, we know that cancer is related to anger. We know that heart disease is related to stress. We know that. But you know that when you cut your body is trying to heal itself. You know that. I know that. We know that. But what are we going to do about it? Because this is the biggest challenge that we all face. We know this stuff, but what is it we're going to do about it? We know that emotions like love, kindness, being amazed. There's another word, which I didn't even know what the word meant. And I didn't actually write the word down. I just wrote down some words which connect: calmness, composure, equanimity. That's the word, equanimity. I had no idea what that word meant, but it means calmness and composure. That when we are calm, when we are composed, our body goes into healing mode. We secrete endorphins, we secrete serotonin. If we think that getting stressed and worried and anxious enhances our life, it might enhance moments in life to get you to do something, but I want you to ask yourself the question: do you want to live a long life? It's either yes or no. Are you prepared to admit today that you are the chemist? Everything that you do internally, everything you think, everything that you subject your mind to is giving your body an option to be disrupted or be connected. If you want to be connected to life, then connect to love, to joy. And it's not always the easiest thing to do, but is it worth it? And this is the thought that came to my mind this morning, and I just felt like I had to share this with you guys because you guys are brilliant. Everyone excited? Everyone having a good time? Because yesterday I said the technique was to, when you experience emotion that you don't like, or it doesn't put you in a particularly good frame of mind and body, is to say, that's interesting. That's interesting, rather than, literally immersing yourself in an emotion. And many of you had this yesterday, whether our elite broadcast, you couldn't find it, which was my mistake, and I apologize for that. But boy, did you put yourself into a state of stress and worry and anxiety. If you want more healing, if you want your body to work better, you're going to have to work at it, which is why the art of mindfulness, the art of meditation, the art of doing things, practice love, practice gratitude, telling people how amazing they are, rather than putting yourself into a state where you're killing yourself. You're killing all of the cells in your body. And I don't know about you, I'm not a fan of institutions, right? Many institutions just really, I don't know how many institutions there are out there that kind of annoy you, or you look at them and you think, God, you're so outdated because you're doing things so far in the past, you're not looking in the future. Can anyone think of any institutions, even the government? I'm sure if we changed the way countries were run, things would be really different. There are many institutions. I look at the National Health Service. It's a great institution, but there are many things about it that need to change. Many institutions, but you know what? That's your institution. You live in an institution and you keep going back to that institution. Your generalizations, you're telling yourself, I can't do this, I'm not good enough. Your institution, you just can't help but go back there. You want to go back into your institution of telling yourself that this is how your life is, rather than leaving what you know. I sometimes wish, leave everything you know to one side. Just leave it to one side. Let's open our minds to do things in a different way. We tend to go back to what is familiar. Yeah, the BBC is a classic example of an institution that I used to think, oh God, the good old BBC, what a lovely institution. But it's an old institution, but it ain't as old as the institution that you have in your head that you want to let go of, that you want to go back to what you know, seeing the world through your institution, seeing the world through what you have invested in your institution, your world. We go back. But who wants to go to brave new worlds? Who wants to do things in completely different ways than they've ever done them before? Because if you do, this is the challenge. And this is the second thing as we come to the end of this broadcast today. I want everyone to really start to open their mind to something. Where does stress come from? Where does it come from? Well, it comes out of fear. Where's anger come from? Fear. Or if you look at where all these emotions coming from, fear. Fear of what? I'm not good enough, and fear I won't be loved. I'm not good enough, and I won't be loved. That's where it all comes from, guys. Sorry to say it as it is. Maybe I'm wrong. If you want to prove me wrong, that's fine. You deep down have a fear that you, the way you are, is not good enough. And secondly, you won't be loved. Most of us are messed up for those two reasons, but it's okay. Just because we've been messed up, we can unmess ourselves. We can change, and many of you are doing that. But often people want change like this, and change can happen quickly, but it's change that you do every single day to move you in a direction that you want to go. And many of us don't want to give this up. They don't want to give up the idea of I'm not good enough, or we don't want to give up certain ways of thinking and acting. This is who we are. This is what we do. But to let go, you think, well, who the hell would I be? Who would I be if I didn't do this? Ooh, that's a bit scary. That's another thing that's a bit scary, the unknown. But everything is unknown, really, if you think about it. So what is the point I really want to make to everyone today is to recognize, to become more aware than you ever have. Yesterday, that's interesting when you notice an emotion bubble up. But today, I want you to understand, where does stress really come from? In many cases, it comes because you're not here. You're not here. Where are you? Where are you? You're at home. Yeah, okay. Well, where's your mind? For most people, their mind can be in the past, thinking about what happened. So if you're in the past, what you often do is, and that's not thinking. We're going to look at this tomorrow. That's remembering. Remembering is not thinking. Thinking is when you're productively using your brain. That's how I look at thinking. Productively using your brain to see something that you want, and then everything that you do is geared towards making that happen. Going back in the future is just, I remember that's how it was. I failed in the past, so I'll fail in the future. That's not thinking, that's remembering. And then when you go into the future, often we paint the worst possible scenarios. We think all these things and we're not here anymore. If you want to kill yourself, don't be here. If you want to enjoy your life, find as many ways as you can to be here now. Now, what needs to be done? I'm not saying we shouldn't remember. I'm not saying we shouldn't ponder and reflect on great memories. I'm not saying we shouldn't create the future by thinking about it, but recognizing when you're thinking about it in a way that is causing you stress. And when you feel stress, one of the best things you can do is you put one hand on top of the other hand like that, and you say to yourself, now what needs to be done? Everyone, just do that right now. Just one hand on top of the other hand, and tell me, what do you become aware of? For so many people, when they do this, they feel safe. They feel protected. They feel like, oh, this is what it feels like to be here. See, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying here. I'm going to continue to be here for people that want to take their life to a whole new level. And this information is very powerful. And what I want all of you to do, if you take this seriously, is to take a moment and think, what am I going to take away from what he just said? What's the biggest learn? I've just given you 17 minutes of the best of me. What are you going to take from that? And that's why, you know, keeping notes and looking back at this stuff, that's remembering, but looking back at what's important can be a very powerful thing to do. But we have to recognize that we always have a choice. Do you want to heal? Do you want to heal? Or do you want to be at disease with yourself? I really appreciate everyone joining me here today. I know this was quite hard hitting, but put a big smile on your face and say, now what needs to be done? Now what needs to be done? If you want to control your emotional state, say that to yourself and notice what happens. Now what needs to be done? What's the first thing that comes into your head? For so many people, it's nothing. Now what needs to be done? Well, what have I asked you to do? What's the one thing you're going to take away from what I've just said? If your mind starts wandering off, do one thing to bring yourself back into the moment. If you want to work with me, you know, we've been doing this for 2 years, and in less than 2 weeks, on a Monday, it's the only day I'm going to be broadcasting. If you want to continue to work with me, then there is a price to pay for that. And I'm not just talking about £20 a month to have your own coach. I'm talking about the price that you will pay in your time, your effort, in applying yourself to you being the best that you can be. I believe now you could go and get help from lots of different people, and it can be very distracting. What should I do this? Should I do that? This is what I like to say to people. Call me a saint, call me a sinner, stick with me, and you will be a winner. I have helped multiple hundreds, thousands of people just like you achieve greatness. I've only just begun in this process, and feel free to immerse yourself in the next 2 weeks. But in 2 weeks, everything changes. The things that we've got planned for people just like you that want to be the very best that you can be, to be elite. That's what My 365 Elite is. It's the opportunity for you to be elite. If you click on the link in this post, you can sign up to get on the waiting list. And in a couple of weeks, we'll open the doors and you will have an opportunity to be a part of a like-minded group of people who are dedicated beyond anything that you can imagine. And if you're not dedicated, don't worry. We'll up the dedication. We will show you. We will support you. We will guide you. We will be there for you every step of the way. Plus a whole load of other heroes who have already made great changes and now want to give back to people like you. Plus, you're also going to have access to some of the greatest masterclasses on earth. Masterclasses on willpower, confidence, breaking habits, upgrade your life, mindfulness, wellness, all there for you. It's time for us to go to work on ourselves. I appreciate every single one of you being here today. Let's have a phenomenal day. Goodbye, Instagrammers. Let's end this on Instagram. And let me just do a quick little Instagram story, because I've now been instructed. It's one of the things I have to do. And if I'm told I have to do something, I better do it, even though the rebel in me says, no, don't do it. Here we go. So it is day 2 on 5 ways to build emotional strength. What are we looking at today? You saying to yourself, be here now, Be in the moment. It's time for you to heal and not be at dis-ease with yourself. We'll see you tomorrow for day 3. Goodbye, Pete Cohen. Have a great day, guys. Thank you for being here. Looking to learn from you guys as well. All the best. Ta-ta for now.